Hello everyone, welcome to a very rainy Pilot Plus Wickham Air Park, one of my most favourite locations in this sim. And I've just flown here from Leeds Bradford and it was an absolutely jaw-dropping flight. I didn't actually record it, but oh my god, it was incredible. And I'm actually not going to go flying at all today. I'm just going to talk about settings, my own settings, because many of you have been asking me in the comments, what are my settings now that I've got this new Uber machine, which, if you don't know, is a 10900K running a 3090. And to be honest, I haven't answered your questions simply because I've been tweaking. I've only had the PC about 3 or 4 days, so I've been stress testing it, and all of those videos will come very soon, including comparisons with my previous 8600K 1080 Ti machine, which I still own, by the way. Don't worry, I've still got it, and you'll still be seeing plenty of videos with it as well. But yeah, just got to say, my most favourite airfield of all time is actually Pilot Plus Southend. It is incredible. Pilot Plus are the best in the business at producing high quality add-ons, but it also gives me a really good opportunity to see what my computer can handle with all this heavy weather thrown in. And what I do is I use the OpenXR developer tool. I'll link it in the description below. Here it is on the screen now. I have currently got that set to preview mode, which gives me motion projection down to 30 frames per second with the Reverb G2, which I personally like. It means I can move around the cockpit and I can look at the terrain, and it's always silky smooth. There's no stuttering, no ghosting. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll get the odd stutter when I'm loading in ortho. You can never completely eliminate it, but that for me is my perfect sort of settings for OpenXR, simply because I like motion projection on because it's so fluid. But if you don't like it, just disable it. As you can see there, you can choose to have it on automatic, which is my preference, always on, which I don't recommend, or disabled. So with that being said, I'm now going to show you my settings in VR in real time. Just give me a second though, because I'm going to have to press the escape key. So here we are. These are my settings, and you can see here my render scaling. This is the big one. I couldn't believe this. With the 3090 beast that's in my computer now, I can run at 100% render scale, and the reverb, oh my god, it just looks so damn crisp. You can read this tiniest of text. It is so nice, and I've always said, and I will stand by what I said, that the sweet spot in the Reverb G2 is really, really good. I don't know what this sort of trend is of people saying it's terrible. It's just not, okay? It's really good. I guess it's all to do with head shapes and fitment. It's you know, it's a personal thing VR, and I think some people are generally sort of struggling, but I think some people are actually just jumping on the bandwagon and saying it's crap when it's not. The sweet spot is brilliant. The Quest 2 is better, I've got to say, but the Reverb G2 is really good. So these are my settings. I've got render scale to 100, and notice they're quite different now from my 8600K 1080 Ti machine, which I've still got, by the way, and you're going to see plenty of content with it soon, particularly comparing it to this system, which is an interesting video. Trust me, you're going to want to watch that. So anyway, with that being said, these are my optimum settings right now. I am currently, as I say, at Pilot Plus Wickham Air Park, and I've flown from Orbex Leeds Bradford, and I'm on my way to Southend actually, which is another, in fact it's my absolute favourite #1 airfield of all time. It's incredibly detailed, and I'll put a link in the description below that review. But it also gives me a chance, because they're so highly detailed, to really stress test my computer. And for me, I want to stay above 30 frames per second so I get that motion projection. My terrain level of detail now is up from, I think, about 100 to 150. And you can notice here, most things now are on high. My terrain vector data, buildings and trees are all on high. In fact, I've actually, if I'm honest, ran them at ultra, and it doesn't seem to make any difference with my machine. It's just crazy powerful, and I don't know, it seems to just laugh in the face of my settings here. But I have, just to keep myself at a decent level so that I can run at really high intense areas like this, I've just knocked it back to high, because to be honest, the difference between high and ultra isn't that much. Grass and bushes, I've set that to medium. Again, I could put that up higher, but I like to give myself a bit of leeway with you know, my frame rate. Object level of detail, I've moved that up to 120 from 90. And you really do actually get a sense of that extra detail when you're looking at buildings when you're flying quite low. Volumetric clouds, I've kept that on high because I still feel high versus ultra. There's not much difference in actual eye candy, but you do get a frame rate difference there. Texture resolution, high. That, I'm not sure, I think that was on medium before. And filtering is set to 4 times. Right, anyway, we'll have a look at the next part. I'm just going to have to move my mouse again, so I'll see you in a second. Welcome back. Sorry about that. I just had to move the mouse and I'm using shadow play, so I had to just quickly go off the screen. So yeah, as I say, filtering 4 times and texture super sampling, I've left that off. I don't really find much of a difference with it on, and you do lose some frame rate, so I've left it off there, even with a 3090 card. Texture synthesis, that's now on high. I've tried it on ultra, and to be honest, it's still the same, but I've just backed it off a little bit. Water waves, I used to have that on medium. I'm so pleased I can have that on high or even ultra now because I love the water effects in this sim. Shadows, this is something that actually does affect my system still, believe it or not. Even with my 10900K, I find shadow maps and terrain shadows still have a bit of an effect on performance, so I've kept that fairly low. Although I have upped the contact shadows to high, which look beautiful in the cockpit. I've got to say, they look really nice. Windshield effects, well, I've always kept on ultra. Ambient occlusion, kept that baby off. Honestly, that is one of the worst in this sim. Really bad. Reflections, this is something that's interesting. Reflections actually accounts for a good sort of 15% reduction in frame rate, but with my new 3090 card, and it's nothing to do with ray tracing because it's not actually supported in the sim. It's fine. It runs fine even on high, and the visual impact of that is very nice indeed. As is light shafts. Now I'm running that medium at the moment, but even on high, again, I don't seem to have an effect on the change. It doesn't change the frame rate much. And when I'm flying in and out the clouds, and I literally feel I could touch the rays of the sun casting shadows and, you know, going in and out the clouds. Honestly, there's one thing this system has given me, and that's appreciation for Asobo and all the work that they put in to make this sim so beautiful. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. So we've got bloom. I've switched that off. I still find that a bit hefty in performance. I think it's just not very well optimized at the moment. And glass cockpit refresh rate, well, generally speaking, I have that on either medium or high. Right, so that is pretty much all of my settings at the moment. As they change, I will let you know, but they're not going to be very useful for any of you that have got a sort of lower spec machine because you might struggle. But I think the big takeaway here for me is that I can now up my settings quite considerably, and I've actually backed them off. I can actually put quite a few of them on ultra now and maintain an incredible fluid 30-35 frames per second. But anyway, I'm going to now head off to Southend before it gets dark. I'm not going to record this one because I don't record every flight, to be honest. I do enjoy flying with the cameras off, so to speak. And you know what? I've noticed shadow play and OBS kills performance. Even on this system, you get about 5 to 7 frames per second less. But I wish you all very well. Stay safe. Plenty more content coming, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye-bye for now.